Hi, welcome back to the Allotment Gardener. This video isn't going to actually feature a lot of me. It's going to feature a lot of what's actually going on, what's growing, etc., rather than me showing you how to plant the umpteenth row of something in the same method as previously. So we'll just take a wander around the plot and see how everything's getting on. Okay, here we are on bed one, the potatoes. From previous videos, if you remember, the row at the back as we're looking at it, which are the most established, were the ones with the long shoots. The second row were same potatoes, but we rubbed the shoots off of them and they're clearly not as well established. And then the third and fourth rows, I think it was Phil that put them in, once again had the long shoots, and they've clearly surpassed row 2. So going well, but yet to see what the return's like once we get them out of the ground. Bed 2, which is where we put the cucurbits, the row of spinach has probably doubled in size since the last time we looked at it, due to the rain and shine that we've had, and cucurbits are just about holding their own. They're a bit of yellow on them, but hopefully they'll pick up over the next few weeks. The third bed, which is not bed 3, is the permanent bed, which has got strawberries and asparagus in it. The asparagus has been hand weeded and it's just being allowed to die off. Hopefully we'll get something a bit more substantial to eat next year. And the strawberries are coming along well, and I shall be netting those later on in the day. Bed 3 is one of the Brassica cages. As you can probably see, there's trays of brassicas in there that are hardening off, that have been in the greenhouse. We're going to struggle to find a place to put them, but I'm sure people will take them off our hands. I'd rather have too many than too few. Also on the same bed, one of the first things we put in were the red cabbages. As you can see, they're racing along quite nicely. Looks like I'll have to take the netting off and give them a weeding, but very impressed with those. Just gone past the greenhouse and arrived at the pond stroke herb bed. If you see on the right hand side, I've allowed the weeds to grow quite substantially. The plan there is that the frogs that can get in and out of the pond, because of all the sloped stones in the bottom of it, can use that for a bit of cover if they want to. The flowers that are growing around them, the antirrhinums, are going great guns. Unfortunately, the marigolds seem to have been nipped by the frost, and we'll have to see if we get any more movement on those. So the other end of the same bed is where the herbs are. I've got 3 lots of herbs growing from seed: coriander, fennel, and I believe parsley. Everything else is shop bought and all going well. This is the next major project. This is the fruit cage. It's not covered, it's not weeded, and it looks more like a jungle, but just goes to show that not everything in the allotment gardener world is perfect. This is bed 4 in our rotation. Runner beans at the back, and it is a legume bed, but we decided we were going to put the corns in here because we had to put them somewhere, and they're coming along nicely as well. Second half of the rotation, bed 5, looks like these spuds need earthing up again. Bed 6, what a difference a bit of weeding makes. The carrots show nicely, yet to weed the parsnips at the row to the bottom right in the camera. Just going to wait until they're a little bit more established, and then we have a little row of spring onions, the radishes, and a beetroot. One thing's for certain, that you'll not only learn from our successes, but you'll learn from our failures. The radishes coming out lovely at the moment, but if you don't thin them out, the difference is phenomenal. So always remember to thin them out. They can go into compost. The other thing is some things really can't tolerate the weeds, and one of them is beetroot. Because I haven't been weeding this as regularly as I should, it's not a bad stretch of beetroot, but there's big massive gaps in it. And the reason is the weeds, which I've got piles and piles of, just doing this bit, have overtaken and killed off the beetroot. So if you're growing beetroots particularly, make sure they're well weeded regularly. Turnips are racing along. Mons 2 are coming along wonderfully. already got them netted up along next to the petit pois peas, as you can see. I have to confess that the Mange 2 are not from seed. I have only just realised that I haven't got the Mange 2, and it's something that we have to grow on the plot. I was even struggling for space to where I was going to put them, so I've gone out and bought a couple of trays of them, and we've just planted them in some compost to get them going well, and netted them all up, and looking forward to a bumper crop. Probably the busiest bed on the plot is bed 8, broad beans. I've had to put the old twine around them because the old wind was blowing them over. The meteor peas racing along. The petit pois and the Mange 2, as discussed, have been netted up, and we have the runner beans on the 2 canes with a gap in the middle for some dwarf beans. What's this, you ask? The greenhouse has had somewhat of a transformation. We've now taken out 2 of the pieces of staging, got the old mayo pots, and we've got 6 tomato plants, 4 chilli plants, 3 cucumber plants growing in the tubs, and what was left is on the last piece of staging at the back. Everything else is in the ground. Okay, walk around the plot's finished. It's the 1st of June today, so hopefully the next few months of videos will just show Phil and I with watering cans in our hand, wandering around the plot and doing the watering. We'll catch up with you next week.